watch the video, and I was like, oh, Grape B is really loud.
See, that's exactly what I was talking about.
What? God damn it!
Start, and you were talking about something else.
Anyway,
Beans.
So this is different. All in the same room, living room.
it's actually really weird to see us
It's
all
super
on the
weird.
same screen.
Super weird. But
Hi, Internet.
hi. So we're only lovers left in the library. That's who we are, right?
Yeah.
And the special edition of book club meeting this month because we're all in the same place. For vacations, Tashay came to PR to visit her family, and Andrea also did. So
I was waiting for like what was going to differentiate my visit from her.
Andrea came to kill a man.
I thought it was a different reason for different reason. I'm sorry. I thought it was like for work.
Andrea came from Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And I came from New
The
York.
Boys and Girls Club sent me to Puerto Rico. Like, that's a non-profit. I probably should say where I work.
Whoops. Okay.
We don't know where.
Blame the Schroefenherfer.
Schroefenherfer.
Okay, so anyway, we're all in Puerto Rico for Christmas, except for Sarah. She's in Kentucky. Hi, Sarah.
Pour one out for my homie.
Right? I don't want. Don't put. This is my house, by the way. Don't spill anything.
We're gonna do it.
I already spilled like mushroom juice on the couch. All right.
Oh, if you want our delicious mushroom fajita
Okay,
recipe-
we just had.
Actually, it's not ours. It's some blogger ladies, but it's delicious.
It was delicious. I wasn't convinced, but we had dinner right before we started this, and we had some marinated. We had some fajitas. We had chicken fajitas, and then as vegan, so we made her version with mushrooms, and so we did this like marinated mushroom dish. So good. Trust me, it was excellent. I'm gonna put that recipe link in the doobly doo.
Right near Andrea's knee.
Exactly underneath here. Oh, okay. Anyway, so guys, how many books has it been?
This is our 9th book.
Ninth book together. 8th hangout. 8th live hangout. But 9 books. Right?
Yeah.
It's been a good time. And so, I left the book.
No.
Well,
Okay,
it's
well,
fine.
It's too late.
it's not fine. I've got the book. I want to show the book.
Hey, go get it
Book.
then.
Okay, so what are you drinking? I'm having Telltale Tart. My coworker got me this. It was super cool. It's supposed to be really sour tart beer though, so I might make a face.
Does it taste?
I
Have
don't
you
know.
tried it
Here we
yet?
go. No,
Oh.
I'm about to live.
She is
and try it.
about
It's
to
like
taste
those reality
this
show
beer.
people who can't do anything unless it's live now.
That is tart, but good. It's good.
Good to know.
Well, I'll be back.
Go get the book. Don't knock anything over.
I can't pronounce what I'm drinking.
Andrea's having a Schopenhauer, which is a very light grapefruit beer that I had at a bar in Philly first, and then a German bar in New York, and it tastes
Oh,
amazing.
that's so nice. It has a label that says "Protect the Environment."
Oh, that's
Don't
cute.
throw it.
Oh. And it tastes delicious. And I'm having the world's biggest Heineken. This thing, you can't tell. It's exactly. That's how
Yeah.
big it is. Compared to the size of my arm, this beer is about the size of my arm.
Where's my phone?
Because I like to overcompensate.
Oh my gosh! Stop looking for things, Christina.
Sit down. Booty on the internet.
That's totally true. Walk right by
They're
it.
not really flattering.
There it is.
Right there.
This is the book.
And this is the book that we read, number 9. Our book baby. 9 months. Well, 9 books, but book baby. Our book baby.
Right. So, Vaginal Fantasy, the group, Only Lovers is a subgroup. They went on hiatus. The girls went on hiatus during November and December. So we kind of like ventured out and picked our own book. I had already read this. I wanted to talk about it with other people. So I suggested it. So this is The Golem and the Jinni by Helene? There's an E at the end. There's an E at the end.
Helen.
We should have looked this
Say
up
Helen.
before we
Helene
went live.
Wecker.
Helene? It's definitely not Helene. That's the wrong way to pronounce it. Helene?
Helene.
Are you gonna tag her in this?
I'm gonna.
Because
Why not? We loved it. Didn't
And
we?
then she's gonna be like, guys, this is the phonetic pronunciation of my name.
That's
There
okay.
you go.
People mispronounce things all the time. And this is my like notebook where I take my notes so we don't get lost because maybe we had too much drink by the time we started. Or that. Okay. So anyway, I think we already did the introductions. Christina, Andrea, Tashay. This is the book we read. Oh my God.
What happened? What's going on?
Oh,
we die?
nothing. No. Oh my God.
Is your laptop
All right, we're
freaking
back.
out?
It was. Oh, it's the TV.
Oh, okay.
It was connected. We were watching
It's okay.
Okay,
We'll
as long
move
as you
past
can
that.
still see us, that's what matters.
We were watching.
No, we're fine. All right.
Christina's
Okay.
computer basically just freaked out a little bit, and
It's
we
okay.
all fractionally thought it might have been possessed,
still
but
here.
it's fine.
Are we
We're
gonna
good.
go?
We're gonna
What
keep
about
this
our
rocking.
awards? Is that not the first thing?
No, it's
no,
the
it's
last
last.
thing.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay,
once
sorry.
we're done with our hangout, we're gonna wrap it up with some like Only Lovers awards, and then a fuck, marry, kill of all of the books that Only Lovers has read from the Vaginal Fantasy roster this year. So starting from The Mirror of Her Dreams till right now.
So clearly, if you have been like oscillating between which book to read, you should read the ones where we chose to marry the characters.
Right.
Clearly, those are the best.
And we didn't choose just from the protagonists, right? We chose from like other characters.
We went through like the pool of all characters, because really sometimes the secondary characters really make a book a lot stronger.
It's true.
All right, so let's start with overall impressions of the book. Like, what did you like the book? What was... I loved it. That's why I recommended it. I had heard it first in audiobook. I really loved the narration, and so I bought the book in print. I wanted to reread it, and so it just so happens that we got the chance. And I loved this book. There might be one thing that I was like, oh, really? That's it though. I love this book from like beginning to end. One of the best books that I've ever read. Okay, so that was me. That's my impressions. What about you guys?
Yeah, I really liked it because it kind of took like the best things of like historical fiction and like fantasy and romance and just did this like really smart mesh of it all. Like I thought it was a really smart book. Like it read like really good literature. I'm not saying it's not.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
It's like really, it's like it feels like more highbrow literature than it is, because it's like really accessible and easy to read, but it's just like really smart. And like there were definitely things where I was like, I didn't know that. I should like look up more information about this. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. I read it in like 2 days. It was great.
Wow, you did. You beat
I
us.
know.
Wow.
I'm a really fast reader.
I know, but I had already read it, and I still took a while.
Fast reader.
What
You
about
win.
you? What about you? You win, okay? We don't have an award for you.
You win the show for
I
me.
didn't-
Oh, we should give each other awards. We didn't think about that.
We'll do it at the end. Whatever. We'll wing it.
All right.
Okay. What about you, Tashay? What did you think?
I loved this book a lot. It was so good. I loved all the characters. I loved the pace of the story. I loved that each new section was a different perspective, but you never lost the voice of who was talking and what point of view it was coming from. I love that all of the historical like information you're provided as a reader is interesting and really like she did a lot of research on like what it was like when immigration was happening the most to New York City, and she
Like,
did
you
a
don't
lot
doubt anything that she says.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
think
mhm,
it
that's
felt
definitely
really authentic. Even though it's a fantasy story, it felt really authentic. Like
Yeah.
I felt like I was walking around in late 1800s New York.
Yeah, and she was very true to just like Jewish culture and the religion and the social customs, and all the characters are so just real and nice, and I wanted to know about everybody. And when something bad happened, I felt really sad for the characters, and like they were very sympathetic characters.
And I think everything was really easy to understand because, like, I had read about like Jinni's before, but I had never heard of like, is it Golem?
Golem,
Yeah, I had
Golems,
never
yeah.
read anything about golems ever.
I had read
I like Googled what they looked like because I was like,
Really?
what is this thing?
You know,
And then I was like, this looks like a Pokemon, but okay.
well, there's a Pokemon, the
Right?
Golem.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's not really.
I know.
I
But the point is that I automatically like followed it. I was like, this makes total sense. I can see like how this is how they were used, and I can see how
Yeah.
this is how she
That's
is.
a real
and-
compliment to the book because there's a lot of different timelines happening,
a lot.
Yeah.
and then they all come together, but you never feel overwhelmed by the scope of the story. The story
Yeah.
spans like at one point thousands of years, but never once did.
And it also doesn't feel like sometimes with these stories, I feel like you can tell that the author is just really trying to connect everything. And it didn't feel like that here. Like it felt very natural. Like when you find out how everything is connected, it doesn't feel forced. You're like, oh yeah, like that makes total sense. It doesn't feel like a plot device. You know what I mean? It's just, it feels like that's how
well,
it happened.
maybe one.
Christina has a comment
maybe
on that.
maybe
Which one?
one. Well, we have to like get into the story, but it's one of the characters that I was like, "Well, of course, like I with the evil rabbi.
Mhm.
When you like discuss the when
Yeah,
when
but
you
I
find
saw
out,
that coming though.
I did-
Like, it made sense to me.
it did make sense after I thought about it, but when I initially read / heard it, I was like, of course, like of course that's gotta be. I would have been. I would have. I don't know. I thought it was different. I thought that the outcome that the person was different. I don't know.
Oh, I also like that everyone gets like an equal footing in the story. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't just give a lot of attention to either the Golem or the Jinn. Like they both get equal treatment. They both get very interesting backstories. Like they both get
And like non-judgmental. Like
yeah. You never get the feeling that any
Like,
either
their
one of them
stories
is
are just being
judged.
presented. Yeah, it's just like, this is what happened, guys. You like decide for yourselves what you want to.
Even when it's like that, though, sometimes it's really compelling.
Yeah,
I use
yeah.
the example of I was trying to show in the car when we were driving over here of Yehuda Shaman, who at first, like, he's the evil rabbi.
Yehuda Shaman is an evil character in the story.
He's the antagonist, basically.
He's the main antagonist who pushes all of the action forward and basically brings these two characters to life.
Yeah, but there's one point in the story where he, as the student of, I don't know what he was studying, but he's like a young rabbi, like hopeful.
Yeah, he's just studying.
And he has like this like vision, this like spirit quest, where he reaches, like he ascends into like what would be the gates of heaven, and then for no apparent reason at the time, they close the gates on him and they say, "You don't belong here." And so he can't get in. And they send him back. And at that moment, I was like, wow, that's really harsh. Like, they didn't even give him a reason. And I felt, even though he's like this awful bastard.
Because that's at the very beginning of the story.
Yeah, and then later on.
Happens very early on.
Later on, when that whole reveal happens, you're like,
that's why
makes
you're
a lot of
definitely
sense.
not getting
That's
into
why
heaven.
you're a piece of shit. You're always gonna be a piece of shit.
You're like garbage forever.
You were gonna be a piece of shit forever, bro. Like that's.
You're like
It
a
made sense at that
non-recyclable bottle.
So
that
even
just floats in the ocean
even though
forever.
at that moment in the beginning of that story, where you were saying like you just got the information, even that left me just kind of like spinning because I was really questioning his motivation. Well, I mean, obviously he's justified because who wouldn't be? Like, if you knew you were destined to go to hell, then why not be the worst person you could possibly be? If you went up to the gates of heaven and they were like, nah, sorry, you're not getting in here, and he's just a teenager, what motivation does that give any character
to try to
be
be
good? No, I definitely would be like the biggest piece of shit I probably could be. If I knew that I was definitely, no matter what I did, but it turns out.
I don't think you'd be like that level.
No,
I mean, you know.
I don't know if it's that level. Okay, so we're supposed to, now we're going to get into the story.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to let you handle that.
So, all right, there's a lot going on. Look at how thick this book is. There's like 5 or 6 different stories happening at the same time.
I think we should do like the briefest of summaries because I think you should all read it. So, I mean, I know we're
you
gonna
should all read
spoilers,
it. That sounded like you should all be dead.
Oh,
I was sitting right next to that when I heard,
What?
you should all be dead. I was like, what?
That's
What?
not what she
No,
said.
I clearly said you should all read it.
Yes.
You should all read it.
You should all read it. I'm sorry, I just totally like heard the wrong thing. That's wrong.
You're like sitting next to it, Christina. You can't even blame like poor Google Hangout connection.
You're absolutely right.
Right next
Sorry.
to me.
Okay, everyone should definitely read this, but we have to go over like the different parts. I mean, it's part of it. I mean, even if we try to summarize it now, I don't think we could even begin to scratch the surface about what happens.
Okay. Do you want me to try to like really try to generalize?
I feel like you should just say, this is what a Jinni is.
Okay.
This is what happened to him.
Okay.
Then this is what a golem is.
Right.
This is what happened to her.
Let's do this.
And then they met, and this is what happened.
All right.
Boom.
Good call. Good call.
So, for those of you who don't know, a golem in traditional Jewish like folklore is a man made of clay, usually created by a rabbi, and he serves a master. He's almost like a work animal. He's like a workhorse / bodyguard. He's created with a command in his head to like follow his master. He follows all instructions. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't eat. He feels no pain. and he can only be destroyed by like a command, basically. Our golem is a woman who comes to be created to be this Jewish man's wife. That's what her purpose is supposed to be in the story. A Jinni.
We're listening.
It's just that if I don't have the flash, I won't wake up in the morning. I will step. The flash is what wake me up.
A Jinni is a variation of a genie. The Jinni in the book in specific is a fire spirit who roams the deserts. They sometimes live in like colonies, sometimes they travel by themselves. They can live for thousands of years, and they don't typically grant wishes like normal genies. But if a particularly strong wizard learns all these like legends and casts the spell the right way, they can capture a Jinni.
I have a question about that. Later.
So there's ways to capture Jinnies, and you can sort of use their magic to gain the kind of stuff you want, like eternal life and riches, and Jinnies are good at finding silver and gold and precious metals and stuff like that. So our Jinni was roaming the desert, being kind of a player, frankly. He was like hot, and so he was like trying to find them desert ladies. And
he was curious about people.
He was a curious person. Curious George. And he gets tricked into getting trapped in human form using an iron handcuff, because iron is very painful for Jinnies. So we have the golem, who was created to be a wife, and we have the Jinni, who gets captured and then lost in the desert because through a series of events, the man who captures him ends up dying. They get
same as the golem's husband.
Same as the golem, who gets created to be a wife. Her husband dies on their way to America to start a new life. So they're both just sort of lost and then swept in various directions, and they both end up like as immigrants in New York, because the Jinni can live 1,000 years and he doesn't age, and the golem
he's in a bottle. Actually.
He's in a bottle. He's
in
like
a flask,
in a little oil flask.
That has been passed down in this family, and that family are immigrated to New York, and so she owned. I think she wasn't the baker. She owned like a cafe or something.
Yeah,
right?
cafe.
Yeah, she belonged to. It was the family of a woman who owned like a cafe in New York, and he ends up in the hands of the bottle ends up in the hand of a tinsmith who's going to fix the bottle, and that's how he ends up getting liberated. The golem ends up being brought to life on the way to New York. Her husband dies before he can give her any sort of command.
He dies of like a appendicitis.
His appendix explodes.
And note, the evil rabbi, right? The Yehuda shaman,
yeah.
He knew that he was going to die. He knew that. He knew that this guy was hurt or something was wrong with him.
Yeah,
and then he wasn't going to. Yeah, he's like, okay, cool. He does the golem anyway. When he creates the golem, though, it's like his masterwork, right? It's like his like opus.
Yeah, because no one has ever created a golem that's a woman, and B, one that has like personality, because he makes her like super curious.
Curiosity
and,
is
So she's like unlike traditional ones.
Yeah, basically. They're supposed to just be tools. Like golems are just supposed to be, you create them so that they work, they build, or they cut, or they can like create dams, that kind of stuff. They don't have personality.
But Rothfeld, the one who commissioned her, he said that he didn't want a dumb woman. He's like, I don't want someone who's dumb. And I remember Shaman was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want, like, that's kind of dangerous.
Are you sure you want a smart, curious
Are you
woman?
sure you want a And he says, well, yeah, I need someone that I can have a conversation with and someone who's interested in talking to me or whatever. Yeah. And he says, okay.
So basically, they both end up in New York at around the same time. And because New York City, it's a big place, but back then people would stay in very specific corners. They didn't meet until about a third of the way into the book. Like, you get their individual perspectives of how they end up where they end up until eventually they meet, because
they're both like incredibly lonely.
Neither of them can sleep. That's like a thing.
And neither of them has they're so different from everyone else, and they don't really have anyone that like understands them.
It's really hard for the golem Chava to be around other people because she responds to the needs and the wants of other people. So if I was thinking that I wanted another beer and Hava was around, she'd have to really control herself into just not getting me that beer, not doing what everybody was telling her to do, because since she's meant to serve, she has like that insight. She can not read your mind, but she knows what you want. So when she first gets to New York, it's really overwhelming.
And what actually ends up happening too, which is really interesting, I think, is that the Jinni and the Golem both end up almost getting paired off with much older men who become their sort of protectors and mentors while they're in New York, because Hava gets spotted by an older rabbi who sees her standing there and immediately recognizes what she is because of her demeanor and the way she like looks at people around her. And through his training and years of growing up in the like Jewish community and going through all of his rabbi training, he immediately knew what she was.
And he dabbled in golem making.
And he had made a small golem when he was
golem.
younger.
Well, and also she was just like sitting there with like birds on her. Guys,
it's a very sweet moment where she's sitting and a bird lands on her.
Well, because she's like earth. She's like connected to like she can feel the dirt and the and like the birds can.
And she's also super strong. So the bird lands on her and she's like very aware that she could destroy this thing without
like
even
so concentrated. She's like,
don't kill the bird. And then Jinni ends up befriending the tinsmith, who
Arbeely,
who releases him from the flask by accident, and then is like, oh shit, there's a naked
man
in my shop. And then they sort of talk, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, you're actually a Jinni, awesome, you're trapped in human form, that sucks. Oh, you can melt stuff with your hands.
I really like that friendship.
Yeah,
I really like that friendship. It was not a simple.
It's kind of a little bit of a toxic friendship. Let's be real.
I mean, they're good, and then Jinni can't handle.
I liked how it wasn't perfect though. I like how they would get furious with each other, and they would recognize that they kind of needed each other. Yeah. One way or the other, and that even after that big blow up, he said he was sorry.
Yeah.
At the end there. But I did like that. It wasn't very simple, like, hey, you're a genie. Oh, we're this awesome, like, Aladdin team. It wasn't like that at all. Like, why did you do that? I don't know. Why do I have to do this? And they just butt heads all the time. But in a real way, like, I feel like that's exactly what would happen.
So what ends up happening is Hava is, because the rabbi wants to take care of her and try to have her become acclimated to the city, he tries to like teach her how to be around people, and he gives her books to read, and he tries to teach her like how to behave in their very small area, and he helps her get a job at a bakery. And so Hava's like trying very hard to sort of blend in with the people around her. Jinni hates everybody. He's stir crazy. He wants to just not be in his human form anymore.
Well, he thinks like humans are inferior as part of the. So he's just
he thinks people are lame. He thinks that their idea that they need to fall within these categories and follow the rules is stupid. He's like trying to break into.
He has very definite opinions about marriage and commitment.
He's like Jinnies
monogamy.
He's like, Jinnies don't get married. They just sort of hook up, and then if you're cool,
he's really kind of an asshole that way. Like, he even lights a cigarette like a jackass. He like rolls his own cigarettes. And then he puts it to his mouth, and then because he's not made of fire, but he's a being of fire, he like touches his finger to the cigarette, like
he just lights it like a cool kid.
Cool kid. Jeez.
Shows up at women's balconies, has sex with them.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, he like seduces the ladies a few times in this story, and then he's like, oh no,
why'd I do that? That was stupid.
So he ends up, they're both kind of stir crazy, and he ends up bumping into her at night out in the street, because he starts sort of wandering around the city.
Is it in the park?
And in the park
by the fountain.
He ends up just randomly bumping into her in a park at night. It's the most...
The one time that she leaves her apartment.
Exactly. It's the most like the entire time you're reading it, you're waiting for the moment where they're going to bump into each other. And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. And then it happens, and it was just sort of very natural and not built up crazily, because you're like, and the Jinni was in the park, and then he saw a woman who was made of stone, and it's like, what?
Whoa, this just happened?
Shit, they just met. Damn it. And so, of course, Hava is, like, petrified, and she tries to run away, and Jinni's like, wait, hold on, stone lady, like, you're weird, too. What's going on here? I need to know more about you, because everyone else here sucks.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, please don't leave me in this hellhole by myself.
I like that it developed very naturally, like, their relationship developed very naturally according to each of their personalities. because she's like super hesitant, and that's the way she is for a really long time. It's like, oh, he's back. I guess I'll walk with him. Like, oh, he's back again. Well, he's not that bad. Oh, he's back. Oh, I kind of like him.
Yeah, it wasn't like
it was
instant.
like very, very, very slow. So
yeah, and then
but like I appreciated that because it made sense for him. And he's always like,
she's
I don't really
stick in the mud.
No, there was so much going on. It wouldn't have,
well, I just like the way that like sometimes he'll look at her and he'll be like, I can see what others might like in her. She's not my type, but I can see how it might. There's those moments where he's like, I can see what's appealing about her.
He's like, I've never spent this much time with a woman without like trying to hook up with her.
Yeah.
This is weird.
I know.
This is weird.
but they're not attracted to each other right off the bat. They're not attracted to each other. And
they're really not at all for like most of the book.
Once it happens, because it does happen. It's a very subtle. It just happened. It was from one page to another because you knew it. It was like you knew it and they knew it too.
Because it's not even. It was almost like with Silver Linings, they were just friends, and then one of them. It was just like. It was just like the realization with the Golem and the Jinni. They're really, really, really good friends until eventually it gets to one point where when shit's hitting the fan, they're both just sort of like, oh, I kind of love this person. And it's not like even, explicitly stated.
Not even that. They have the fight. They have the argument that causes like that decisive moment between them where they feel like they need to part ways.
Because the Jinni, who is very sort of demure, and the Golem, who's very demure and sort of calm this entire time, she befriends some people who she works with, and she goes out and she sort of loosens up, and then she's very excited to involve the Jinni in this life that she's created. So she invites him out, and they go to a night like to dance, and they have like a great time dancing.
Hey,
and
like
they're both really good
dancing.
dancers.
Yeah,
and they're both really tall and striking. People are like, "This is a very like striking tall couple," and they dance amazingly.
I did picture it like Dirty Dancing, like everybody just kind of like split off, like Footloose or something. Like they made a circle around them, and then they start spinning super fast because they're not human. Yeah. So it was like a spectacle,
and everyone's like, "This is amazing!" And then some drama happens. There's a fight. A friend of the Golems gets hurt, and she like snaps.
She snaps into Golem killer mode. So, Terminator.
Exactly. Yeah. So she goes to defend a friend of hers who she like was trying to grow close to, and beats the crap out of this guy without even really noticing it. And the way that the Golem has always been is, she said if she had ever hurt a person, she was very scared that she would ever like hurt a human being. She said if it ever happened, she would destroy herself.
Yeah.
And the Jinni was like,
she had the code to destroy herself.
She carried it herself. I mean, there's so much like we just had to gloss over, but she had the code. And during the altercation, the Jinni was able to get it from her. Yeah, not get it from her. He takes it.
He doesn't know what it is.
He doesn't know what it is, but he takes it like in the rush of the moment. He ends up taking it, realizes what it is, and just won't give it to her because he doesn't want her to destroy herself. And this is what causes the rift.
There's a giant fight of her being like, I can't believe that you don't understand why I would want to destroy myself. And she's just like, you don't understand the consequences of your actions. Like, why? Because she doesn't remember attacking the person for a bit, and he was going to lie to her about it. He wasn't going to tell her.
Which is so interesting when you think about it, because like, he's all like, I could never destroy myself.
But then, like, because the entire time, he is learning that everything that he does has consequences.
Exactly.
And even with Fadua, he learns it, but then he like forgets it. Right? Yeah. With Sophia Winston,
he never knows.
He never really knows that there are consequences. He just like sees her differently because she's like haggard, a little bit more haggard when he sees her, but he doesn't know about like the fire baby or anything like that. And
side note, Jinni gets a human girl pregnant.
Yeah, with like a half genie, half human fire baby
that she loses.
I can't imagine anything worse than like a fire miscarriage.
Yeah, and but then after that, heartburn eternally. And then after that, she can never be warm again. She's just cold all the time.
That's nuts.
Which is horrible.
But she like doesn't hate him for it, which is like
it gives her freedom.
She's cranky, but it does. You're right. It gives her that freedom that she wants. So anyway, he doesn't know those consequences. So then, by the time he decides to do that, he has said, "Okay, this cycle needs to stop. What I'm doing has consequences. I need to do something about it so that it doesn't keep affecting other people.
Yeah.
So
No spoilers, major ones, but
no, basically, while this friendship is developing, and you're like, oh my god, the relationship, what's gonna happen here? Their friendship is great. This one asshole has been in the background tracking down the Golem and the Jinni without knowing he was tracking them down, because our main antagonist is trying to find a way to gain eternal life.
right.
So he has all these like cray ass rabbi spells because he's like super evil oldster. He can like touch people and make them do what he wants them to do, and he can suck the life out of people.
He can make you crazy.
He can make
Just
you
like touching you, he like touches
crazy.
you, and it scrambles your brain, leaves you like a freaking idiot.
You're just dead. You're a potato. You think you're a vegetable now. You were like staring at a wall because you think that you're like a stepladder. He turns you into a stepladder. And then he can also like exorcise demons randomly. Like he's like the fucking Swiss Army knife of.
I know, honestly, that was one of the best
Magic
parts
tricks.
for me. Like, just as like where this one part in the book, he like comes across this person for reasons, and this person has he's like kind of possessed and has been like suffering his whole life.
Yeah.
And the dude is just like, while I'm here, might as well do. So he just goes like, boom, super casually, nonchalantly, like this man is like
I
cured.
really like
of,
that
like,
part though, because genies have the ability to to possess other people. The genie does this, the main character, Amat, he does this when he's like thousands of years back, like before he was trapped. He goes into this girl's dreams and he interacts with her there. But like he wasn't apparently the only genie that did this. But like if a part of the genie gets stuck in you, or the genie gets stuck in you, you basically become like this crazy possessed person. One of the characters, whose name is Sala, he used to be a doctor, and now he's like a tormented kind of like ice cream maker. He
That was really random.
it was
But
super random. Super random. It was good. Anyway, he gets called when he's still working as a doctor to look at this girl who is, he feels like, well, she's having like seizures or whatever, but it turns out she's been possessed by a genie. So when he goes to look into her eyes,
the spark that's in her escapes her.
It's like something that's scrambling inside and then like attacks him or goes into him. He's never the same again.
He can't look at people's faces because he sees empty, hollow eyes, and he sees them as
creepy.
dead bodies, and everything else looks as if the lighting on your TV screen had been fiddled with, so you could still see the picture, but it didn't look right.
Everything was distorted. He couldn't look at his own face.
It's like the only good thing the antagonist does in the book is just like randomly cure this guy.
Yeah, and so when Shaman
sorry.
Huh?
So I just remembered what happened.
So he does. He sees this guy, and he runs into Sala. He's trying to track down the genie. He doesn't know anything at this point. He just needs information.
He randomly.
I'm still waiting for the bike to drive by.
Sorry, guys, traffic.
So he's waiting for. He runs into Sala, and then when he sees Sala, he says, "Oh, damn it!"
I can't ask you any questions. Can't see.
Because he says, I remember his thought process was, "No, this freaking thing is going to like demand that I exorcise it." Well, Sala's just standing there.
Yeah.
This is weird and so I like that something was going on that even me as the reader didn't really know about, because Sala hadn't done anything to show that the spirit was really trying to get its way out of him. I just thought he was affected. So anyway, yeah, he just kind of like, okay, it's out of you.
And he's like, oh my god, I can see!
Yeah, no, it's more violent than that, but it only takes a second. It only takes him a second. He gets the information he needs, and
he pieces out. And then he's like knows that the thing he's been hunting for this whole time has been the Jinni and the Golem, and them two together somehow he's going to end up finding his eternal life that he's been looking for this whole time. And then
ironically,
and then
though,
we're gonna stop. No, we've already told so much. We're not gonna give away the ending of the book.
Okay.
Basically,
However,
there's a showdown.
There's a showdown.
And then no more.
No more.
No more.
Okay, guys, you're gonna have to read the book.
Not die or whatever you thought I said before.
Read the book. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
It has romance. It has really good friendship. It has good female characters. It has like lovable like background and side characters. The history is great.
And if you like stories that like flash back and forth, like
you do eventually get all of the background on every character without the book feeling like it's dragging along.
Yeah, it's not work. Even if you don't like a story that flashes back and forth, it is not work. It's very easy to follow. Now that we're talking about it, I know that it's a big story to try and summarize. It wasn't that bad. I mean,
it's super easy to
once
follow.
you have like the main things down, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Did you have a character that like really like got to you?
I honestly I felt really bad for Fatima. Is that her name?
Fadua, yeah.
Fadua. So Fadua is this like character who at some point when the Jinni's like younger, I guess, in as far as the storyline goes in the book, when the Jinni's younger, when he's living in the desert and he's really curious about people, he sees this one girl who's like cute and she seems really smart and curious, and so he starts befriending her because she sees his glass palace, which is in the distance, and so he decides he's going to go talk to her. And they form a nice friendship, and she's this girl like budding into her sexuality. She's like 15 or 16 and starting to get curious, and they're going to have to marry her off soon, and the Jinni sort of like forms a relationship with her. And the problem is that because he visits her while she's sleeping, she starts losing track of what is her real life and what is the dream.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And it's very sad because the Jinni doesn't even realize that he's basically tearing this girl's life apart.
And she spends all this time like waiting, like in between visits, because to him it's like time is so relative. You know, he'll go see her one day and then he'll go see her like 6 months later, and for her it's been like like just awful, and for him it's just like
it's like wait.
So he basically
waiting for a text for a long time.
Yeah, it's like
always respond to text.
Yeah, it's like waiting, and you know the other person's like doing their thing, and they're not even realizing that you're waiting on them.
Exactly.
Or they know, and they're just making.
And then it's just the way that story ends is really sad because Jinni doesn't even realize what's happening is happening until it's too late.
Yeah. And
he ends up hurt by what happens, and she ends up hurt by what happens. And it doesn't really get a conclusion until the very end of the book because he doesn't have the power to even try to fix what happened. And it's such a like stepping stone to all of this action that happens later on. And it's like right from the beginning, she's a very sort of respectable character.
Yeah, she's not like a stupid little girl.
She's not dumb. She's just this like
but
super
I felt the
girl.
same way about Sophia Winston though.
Yeah.
It's like again, it's like this super nice like
he's got a type.
Like it's like
he likes willful women who are somehow stuck in their situation, and he's like their means of escape in a way. And
that's the one that had the fire baby. And like he never even knew. You know, she goes through the salon just as like normal woman who has her life totally like uprooted.
I see what you did there.
She has her life totally uprooted and like changed by him, and like she's never ever the same, and he can't really fix what he did ever.
Exactly.
And you feel bad for her because she didn't do anything. Like that could have been you, having sex with the hot Jinni who appeared in your balcony. Like so like months
hot,
later,
literally
like,
gorgeous, but also like temperature hot.
He's like warm, making people little statues with his bare hands out of molten metal.
Yeah, it's like how can you not love a guy who makes you like little like gold finches or whatever?
I mean, I'd love him, but then
I'd be like, can you just make me?
I don't want to say any spoilers.
Copper
but
pot.
They have like 2 encounters, him and Sophia, right?
Yeah.
The first one is like
they have a few.
They have 2.
No, he goes to see her more than that.
Really?
Yeah, it's just eventually it stops being sort of a focal point of the narration because he's like, I don't even know why I'm going there. I'm just going there.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he just went like twice.
I thought he just went twice too.
Oh,
I
went twice.
I mean, I thought he went again, but then she wasn't like there.
Yeah, he went the first time.
First time they had like hot makeout
really
or whatever.
Oh, he like
they did
he
it.
like fucked her on the balcony.
Yeah.
Wow.
They did it. They did it. They totally did it.
I know the second time they totally. The second time was when she like got fire baby.
I'm pretty sure that's when he knocked her up. But it was in the bed, and it was more, it was really familiar. Like
he's like, let me tell you a post-sex story about Jinni's, and she's like, ooh,
that's interesting. Totally unrelated to what's happening here. Why is your penis so hot? I'm sleepy.
I did enjoy the story. I was like wrapped up by the story. Like, tell me more. But it was like really familiar. I think that he knew that after that, like that the initial spark was kind of like gone. you know. And then I don't think he went again until he was mad. He was angry
because him.
Yeah, they had like an argument, and then so he goes to Sophia's, but she's not there.
She was traveling in Europe.
By then, she's already sick.
And they were supposed to move. She was engaged. She was going to be married. That's what the like goal of her parents in her section of the book was to get her married because she's of marrying age. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we're gonna set her up. She's from a very well-to-do family. Like they're very well known. They're the richest family in this area.
He really does have a type.
He likes He like is into chicks who have a lot of potential and are sort of restless, and then he's like,
and his parents want them to marry.
And their parents have like their life. It's basically girls who like have their life planned out already, and then Jinni shows up as like, answer to their freedom dreams. Except that, I mean, Sophia gets her freedom at a cost, at her health, right? Then poor.
Anyways,
Anyway, so we made it through most of their major characters. Did you have a character that got to you?
Because for me,
so it was her too.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I also really felt bad for the older man who's like Rabbi Meyer. His wife dies, and then his daughter.
That's the rabbi. That's the one who really touched me. He's the one who rescues her and becomes her mentor.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really sweet of him. He struggled a lot with his decision because he wanted to destroy her. He felt like she was a hazard to herself and to others. But he struggled with it because he said like she was just a child. She was just brought into creation. And he felt like it wasn't fair. That's why he called her Chava, because Chava means life. And he always wanted to remind himself that even though she was a golem, she was alive. And that he really couldn't take it away from her. He doesn't really get to finish the plans he has for her, but he does his best to try and like
put her on this path,
get her assimilated, getting a job, how to appear to other people, how to try to act as normally as possible. When they're first together, they're living together, he thinks about like changing his thoughts around her because he knows that she can hear him. But he says, no, I'm just going to be normal because this is what's going to happen normally. And I might have like sexual thoughts about her and she needs to be able to deal with that.
Yeah. He even tells her, he's like, there's a difference between someone's thoughts and what they actually really feel, because people have a complex series of emotions and thoughts all the time. And her ability to hear it doesn't mean that she should take whatever she hears at face value, because
like you might go like, man, I fucking hate him, and you don't actually mean it. You're just like thinking,
or like, or I could kill him, but you don't really want to kill that person
because like he was an older man who was used to living by himself. His instinct would be to prefer to be alone in the apartment, and she would try to back away from him, and he would say, I want you here, I'm happy you're here, but you have to understand, I've been alone for a long time, so my instinct is to want to be alone. So you need to recognize that people just have instinctual thoughts, and it's filtering it out. It's filtering it out and being able to just respond as if you don't hear what's happening.
I like the golem so much.
The little kid,
She's
though.
So
that's
good.
someone who got
Matthew. Oh man, when the genie tells him what's gonna happen to his mom.
God.
Sorry.
That was great. That was a great one.
Anyway,
that was a great
I was
moment.
laughing.
Me too. Me too. It was so.
and then the lady comes in like
he didn't mean it in a cruel way. He meant it like all honesty. Like, look, this is gonna happen. What
happens is the little boy finds out what he is, and then his mom dies, and he basically thinks that the genie can like
bring her back to
bring
life.
her back because he's like the only magical being he knows. So the genie's basically like, look, dude, I can't. But even if I could, like, your mom would just come back as like this dead spirit, and she would haunt you forever. And is that what you want? Because it would suck.
Like he would chase
and the little kid is like, oh!
He freaks out, and he gets into trouble for saying that. Yeah. But that was a great quote. I like how he was unintentionally
traumatizing his child. No,
I did like that. I'm sorry.
I will disclaim. The book is beautiful. Everyone should read it. It's really great. It's sad. It's sad. A lot of the characters have really sad stories.
That's
because life fucking sucks sometimes, and bad things happen to really good people in the story, and bad things happen to good people in real life. And it's that's why I liked it so much, because it doesn't shy away from bad stuff happening, but there's like really good payoff though.
Yeah, there's a good
It's
payoff.
worth it for a lot of the characters. They do end up getting a lot of stuff out of what happens. And
I really
our
like
two
the-
main characters, they're so much better off in the end from knowing
Things
each
are
other.
resolved.
Yeah, there's definite resolution. After all, you know, they're
Satisfying resolution.
satisfying.
Satisfying.
I did like the Golem because of that too. I really resonated with her. I don't know.
I thought she was awesome.
And she's
like-
just a hard worker. She like,
works really hard, but she, you know, her purpose in life is to follow orders. She never really knows or is never really sure about what it is that she wants. I feel like I could really relate to her with that.
yeah.
Sometimes not really knowing what it is that you want and really wanting to cave into what other people want you to do.
Mhm.
And
But it's easier, like she says it.
Definitely
it would be way
easier.
easier if I just did.
yeah, and when
you
she
know.
at one point when she submits in a way,
to her golem nature.
she feels happy. She feels at that moment she feels happy, but you know, not at the same time.
Yeah.
Because but what do you prefer? Feeling happy, you know, fulfilling your nature,
Ignorance is bliss.
or you know, just constantly trying to find your place. And it's so like for me it was so rich that it took place in New York, because isn't that like where you go like to find yourself, you know, like you go to, right? Isn't that what you do?
The struggle is
But it
real.
can be a really lonely experience. Remember when I lived in New York, it was just lonely.
Wait,
It
you
takes
lived in
you a
New
while.
York?
Yeah, I lived there for about a year when I was in 11th grade.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So anyway, wow. It's
That's
just
why I loved her.
so much
character
we
a
could
lot.
talk about. So much we could talk about. But, okay, let's skip to
Read
the
the
last
love.
part.
Okay.
Okay, so we got the setting. We already said that a setting feels real. What about the romance? Right? Because we're supposed to be reading romance. There's actually no kissing or anything between the golem and the genie, right?
Yeah, there's not.
But there's hella chemistry.
It's the most subtle. It's like such a well balanced recipe. It's fucking. It's like
no
it's like
fucking
such-
though.
There's no fucking. There's no kissing. There's no
But it's hot.
physical romance. But there's
Except for the dancing.
there's respect, and then there's friendship along with like admiration, and then there's just like
Recognizing that you need somebody.
yeah. And at some point, he makes a
recognizing that
comment,
if they go away, you're gonna miss them.
you're gonna miss
so
them.
much.
and like what would you do if this person were gone? And
Yeah.
at some point he's sitting and they're like sitting together in a carriage or whatever, and he at some point they had made a comment of like, if you could stretch a moment in your life into forever, what like which
That
moment
part.
would you do?
Oh.
And they're in the carriage together, and he to himself just thinks like, if he could choose a moment to stretch into forever and live in that moment forever, it would be being in that car with the woman that he
Not
had.
gonna lie,
next to
teared
him.
up hard.
And I was like, oh my god, he loves her. He loves her. He loves her.
Oh man, it takes him a while to come around though. It takes a while, but it is so good.
It takes him so long to get around to it that Howard gets married twice.
She gets married.
That's how long it takes him
No.
to realize
Yeah,
she's married twice.
she is.
That's how long it takes him to realize that Hava is
Her
like
marriages don't last very long.
not
Her
her
marriages don't last very long.
She tries to
Her
make them
husband's-
work.
She does, but you know, it's out of her hands.
She tries real hard. She would be such whatever. In any case,
Oof.
the romance for me was just very gratifying because it was the most stable, well-built relationship that I have read in any of these books.
Yeah, I felt at the end too. You feel so happy,
Yeah.
like you feel really
Stop! No spoilers.
no spoilers, but you feel like yeah, you know, it is
Yeah,
a
That's
payoff.
a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's gratification. I
No.
felt very
It's oh, whatever. It's a spoiler.
whatever, y'all. It's a good ending.
Deal with it. It's a happy ending.
It's
It's a hopeful ending.
yes. It ends on a high note.
There. That's it. Sexy times. Jinni's the only one who's having the sex.
He gets a lot of play.
He does, but he is a hot Middle Eastern man, basically, right?
I mean, yeah. He's from I don't know that he's supposed to look like anything in specific because he's supposed to just be like
we
an essence of fire.
he might look like Mohinder,
Yeah, I think
From
he probably
Heroes?
looks like the
I've
actor who
never
plays
seen that.
Mohinder in Heroes,
but like cleaned up.
Yeah.
Real cleaned up.
but his hair with less product.
Yeah, or less curls, just short.
Oh wait, I'll show you a photo.
I'll show you. And then for the Golem, I pictured, I don't know if you want to go with this, the young Gina Davis.
Again, what? I don't know who any of these people
Oh,
are.
come on, she's from
What?
Beetlejuice. Did you see Beetlejuice?
No.
Hold on. I got you.
No, I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Wow, we need to resolve this. I said this guy.
Oh yeah.
Or the Jinni.
Okay, young
Let's
hair
do
product.
that.
What the hell, bro?
I could see that. Yes, the guy they said.
So the guy who plays Mohinder on Heroes, more facial hair, less nice
Definitely
hair.
my type.
He's so grumpy though.
And then
I love him.
So handsome.
So handsome. So grumpy.
Christina says,
Do you put young?
okay, all right, let me try to find young Gina Davis.
What is she in?
Earth Girls Are Easy. Beetlejuice.
That's why you spell young.
She was like the president in one of those shows. I don't know.
Oh, okay, curly hair Gina Davis.
Her. That's what
Oh,
I
yeah.
pictured.
And she's very tall.
She's
Yeah.
really tall.
I can see
Like
that.
Gina
You
Davis
know what?
and Beetlejuice.
Gina Davis with curly hair, yes.
Yeah.
I hope you've all been Googling this while we've been
I'm
Googling.
sure they know who these actors are.
What? You can't assume that. I didn't know it.
Gina Davis at the club as
Oh.
Kava, but like the dress with like high neck.
Yeah, she's very demure.
Gina Davis.
She's very demure. Okay.
Anyways.
All right. So that like wraps it up for the book. It was excellent. I can't wait. I really want to know what we're gonna read in January, but I don't know. But whatever. We're not supposed to be in hiatus anymore. We'll see. Okay. So we decided we have like some categories.
Yay!
We're gonna give us
awards!
some prizes, and then
Relatives.
we're going to do a fuck, marry, kill of the characters that the Only Lovers have read. We've only read like the 9 books.
Yeah.
So okay. So our first category.
Wait, we gotta do a like.
Okay.
My beer's too big.
Wait, first announce the category, and then we'll do the.
Shoot. Where did I put this? Okay, I'm just gonna put it right here. All right, so
Beer's too big.
right here, I'm gonna hold it.
Go.
All right, so we just said the first category for Only Lovers Awards is hottest sex scenes, and the winner is wait, what is it? It is the hottest sex scene is the shower sex scene in Driven. Okay, by Eve Cannon?
Yeah.
What's her name?
If you do not remember that book, it was the one with the
Post-apocalyptic.
emotionally stunted male character and the like badass
Trucker.
truck driving
Ice road
yeah.
trucker. They have the shower sex, and it is. It's good. Well, I mean,
they also had the awesome showers that like dried you off after.
yeah,
that.
the min dry,
Ooh, yeah.
instant dry that everyone
Yes.
should have.
It's amazing.
Okay,
All
so
right.
the next category is the best romantic connection between the two.
Guys.
I gotta explain what it
Oh,
is.
okay.
The best sex scene explains itself though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best romantic connection is the two protagonists having the best like
Emotional
connection. No, we talked
and-
about the Golem and Jinni. I feel like we should change this.
No.
No.
Because the Golem and the Jinni was not an official selection under the Vaginal Fantasies umbrella.
Okay.
And also, I feel like you can't even say that they were like a relation, a couple per se. Like no labels.
Okay.
So
Okay, so the best romantic connection goes to Louise and Max McCord from Silver Linings. That's the prospect.
That's the cowboy book.
The cowboy book. So
Low down Louise and Max McCord, the man who was supposed to be married but did not marry.
Damn that Marvel! Okay, all right. The next category, Only Lovers, is the biggest romantic disappointment. The biggest disappointment is a book in general, and it goes to The Mirror of Her Dreams. It was the first book we read as a book club.
It was a test.
It was a clunker.
It was so
Test of
long.
character.
It was very long and just like no romance, only some breast action.
But not even between the main characters.
Not even
though.
between the
They didn't even make out, guys. They didn't even kiss.
No, it was
Creepy
just
uncle.
bad.
Like creepy uncle
and
dude.
like the dude was
Elrond.
just not-
Elrond.
It was just all terrible.
Elrond and his nipple fetish.
That was
Gross.
the book that was like the political fantasy.
But not even in an interesting Game of
No.
Thrones kind of
No.
way. So okay.
Anyways.
The next category it goes to the pluckiest heroine, the heroine that we enjoyed the most, and that is Louise from Silver Linings.
Ooh, 2 awards.
Some of the that's the honor. She's taking.
She was like, I want a baby. Put it in me.
Stop
dawdling.
dawdling.
Get it done, and I'm gonna go make a pie. I'll be back.
And
She
like
was
wrangle these
badass.
cattle. She was.
I know, she was
We're
badass.
gonna wrangle the
She's a hard
cattle,
worker.
do the laundry, make a pie, and then we're gonna have sex
On the floor.
on the floor.
I mean, it didn't start. She didn't start off.
But she got
She's
there
great,
eventually.
though. She's
She's
great. All
great.
throughout the book,
She was great. She was great. Okay, so those are our categories. Now we do the fuck, marry, kill from the books that we've read.
Yes.
Okay, and not we didn't necessarily stick to all of like the main characters.
Yes,
Right.
and we did include Golem and the Jinni in this one because, like, whatever.
Okay, so fuck, marry, kill. Andrea, you're first. So who would you want to fuck?
Like the most like X-rated like book club hangout we've done.
It's fine.
It's because we're here
so-
in person.
So I picked. If you've been following along, we read this book where like there were these men who used to be dinosaurs,
Eternal
but now they're men. Yeah, this is not like a taken by the T-Rex situation. It's definitely a man, but he has a dinosaur soul, so he's all like,
You can
"Let me
transform into
ravage
it.
you." Yeah. So him.
So his name was Al. Al from Eternal Cravings is the one that you would fuck. Okay, well now marry. Who would you marry?
Max McCord
Max
from
McCord.
Silver Lining.
Ah,
Woo,
just
third
a
one.
rugged, handsome
Cowboy.
cowboy
That's
with the pox scars.
really,
Well,
Christina. Nobody could see the scars.
I'm
Okay,
just saying.
why do you need to bring them up? It's like, not
because
it's like mentioned,
not
not
relevant.
But he's still handsome.
it makes I just like how it like
Handsome.
it was like his scar. You know, scars are hot. He lived through that.
Yeah.
Okay, and who would you who would you kill?
Wait, what?
This is you.
This is a book I didn't even like finish reading because I hated it.
She didn't
so
like.
much.
She
The
really. didn't-
one book I have not finished because, and I could have. I had the time. I was.
thought it was stupid. And she would kill October
The
Day.
woman became a fucking fish.
So-
I'm sorry. Like I just can't.
October Day from
October
Rosemary
Day.
and Rue. That's who
Sorry.
she would
I would
kill.
just leave her as a fish forever.
That was
Side note.
it was really interesting.
Yeah. All 8 books.
Yeah, like
In
I
that
don't know.
series
What,
after we read.
I've gotten to book 4. I've been like lagging, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
Okay.
I didn't write
Whatever,
on it.
guys.
Well, me and
You
Tashay
can-
finished
you
it.
can marry her, whatever.
No, well, nobody mentioned. Okay, Tashay. So it's time for yours. So who would you? You need to see it, or do you know?
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
Okay, so like,
shh. Never mind.
who would you?
Okay, from the book that Andrea hated, Tybalt. He is the king of cats, and he is the cat fairy dude. He's kind of a dick, and he can travel in the shadows, and he wears leather pants a lot.
That's right.
Because I read the first book, and I liked him, and I wore cat makeup to our talk because I loved his character so much, because I loved cat people.
Cat people,
Don't-
dinosaur
yeah,
people.
cat
it's,
play.
you know.
I'm down with cats. Hey.
Okay.
Yes. I'm down with him. And also because I continue to read the next like 7 books. Yes. He gets even better as you go through it. Like,
Do not read these books.
I read them on my phone. It's a good subway train ride read. Like, it's a good time.
So,
So
Mary.
Mary Hava, because she's such a great character and she's such a good wife.
It's true.
And
she would be a great wife.
She's a good person.
She's a good person. She's an
Golem.
interesting person. She tries really hard to befriend people around her, and she's just such a like.
And she's super smart, super curious.
She's someone who I would try really hard to stay awake late to talk to her, and I'd fall asleep because I'm a human, but then I'd wake up and my clothes would be fixed and there'd be bread, so it'd be awesome.
She bakes.
She bakes so much, and she like enjoys it.
All right, and then who would you kill?
I would kill Devin from Rosemary and Rue. He is October Day's childhood sort of
Keep coming
hookup.
back to this
And
book.
he like bangs teenagers and is really creepy. And he's just like a weird pedo who likes to manipulate people. And she's the one person he's the one person she hooks up with in the book, which I resent a lot. So that asshole. I'd kill that asshole.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Christina.
All right,
Yeah.
my turn. Okay, so my fuck, marry, kill. I would fuck Wizard from the
Hottest sex scene.
Driven because he's in the hottest sex scene, and he just seems
Fucking weird.
just emotionally unattached in a way that I would be interested in.
But he has a
to
hot
have like
bod,
a one-time thing,
too.
and he seems he's real smart. He can make like engines run on water. But I don't feel like he's really interesting. Like I want to keep him around. So definitely Wizard. Also, I like his name, but I don't like him.
He's one of those people where as soon as he like starts trying to talk, you just like,
No, stop. Don't.
You know, it's really interesting that for that category, it's like I picked like some guy with a dinosaur soul. You picked some guy who's like half cat, and then you picked a guy who's like raised by computers.
Like, oh, you're gonna pick the interesting ones, I guess.
The moral of the story is you don't marry the ones that are broken.
Exactly. You just use them.
Fuck them and then you move on.
Okay, so then there's Mary, and I chose Louise from Silver Linings because she makes an excellent
awesome.
wife for Max McCord, but she's really strong. Someone I'd want by my side.
Yeah.
As my partner. And
She'll keep that farm going.
yeah, if I'm in, if like,
Right.
you know, I don't want her to do everything, but I feel like she'd be there with
I
me.
know what it says about it. It said like I want to marry like the guy in the relationship, and you want to marry like the girl. Like we went for the same couple.
Yeah.
Just like the different parts of it.
I'm just marrying Golem. We're good.
He's a hard worker too, but I connected more with Louise. And if they two were people, I think I'd hit it off with Louise.
Man, we just like go visit them and destroy that marriage.
Wow. I mean, I have unrealistic expectations of marriage.
Clay.
Well, both of your
Let's go to the
Oh,
pod.
all three of them are like fantasy creatures though. Because even Devin is not like human, is he? He's fae.
Yeah. He's fae. I'm gonna marry Devin.
No, but I know, but like the three people you chose are all
Yeah.
fantasy creatures.
Oh god.
Okay, and
Realizations.
okay, so I'd marry Louise, right? And then who I'd kill Philadelphia, who was the antagonist of Silver Linings, because she was such a mean girl, so over the top, and a liar, and just so, I mean,
Some people look like shit when they wear the color green, just like Louise. Jesus
just
Christ.
the worst kind of person.
Like
Anyway.
the little girl would come hug her, she'd be like,
Don't touch my dress.
Oh, the people like that don't need to be around me. So if I had to pick a character from all the books we read that I would cease existing, that would be her. And I was really irritated she stayed with Wally. Oh, he didn't deserve her.
he did not.
He didn't deserve to put up with her. Anyway, so that's it.
That's it.
The last hangout of the year. All right, so we're gonna say goodbye, and then we'll see you. We'll see you in January.
Next year.
Well, we'll see you next year. Oh boy, you did it.
Yeah, I did.
We'll be in different places again. I might have different hair color. Definitely we'll try to we'll tell you what our resolutions are.
Andy will be back.
Andy will be
Yeah,
back.
he couldn't come. I'm not allowed to have dogs in the apartment, but
He is in Puerto Rico with me, but he was not invited to the hangout.
I'm gonna try to kidnap him tomorrow.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
All right, guys. All right, so happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Happy Three Kings Day.
Happy Three Kings Day, Palo Boricua. And all right, bye. That's it.
It's been real.
It's been.
Goodbye.
Well, we're still
We're in
sleeping over.
person.
I know.
Yeah,
Don't do this to me, Andrea. Don't do this to me.
We're only not recording ourselves anymore.
I know, but it's like our hangout. Like, it's our hangout baby.
Guys, and I finally got to meet her in person.
In person.
Oh yeah, we had never met.
We
We were
never
only
met.
internet friends. Now we're
In
real
person
life
friends.
Successful internet relationships. It can happen.
You just need a book club. That's all you need.
No better way. All right. Bye.